Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the car, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to autumn, welcome back to about 15 degrees Celsius. The leaves are falling off the trees and there's a lot of traffic for this time of year. An awful lot of traffic, you might say. Well, yes, that's because for the schools in the United Kingdom, it is half term and everyone's just like, we're gonna go down to the farm and pick a load of pumpkins because it's also near Halloween. And I'm like, that's cool. You do that. That's fine. Halloween's not a huge thing in the UK. People use it usually as an excuse to get dressed up as a sexy something or other, vampire, witch, milk bottle, which is an actual outfit, yes. James and I, James from twitch.tv/cosmic_guppy, one year, I think we were doing like a Euro Truck Simulator stream, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just add sexy to the front of any costume and you'll find one. Just add that to a word and then costume and you'll find something. And he was like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, try it. Sexy milk bottle. We found a sexy milk bottle outfit. Sexy goldfish. Yep, absolutely. That is an outfit that you can get for Halloween. Mate, I don't know what dressing up like a goldfish has to do with the dead rising from the ground and just having a bit of a party once a year. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was the channel. Because, well, here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago now, somebody said, or left a comment on one of the videos, and they were like, I do SEO. Now, SEO is search engine optimization. I do SEO, and your channel doesn't seem to get very many views. And they also friended the Facebook page. And I was like, okay, all right, sure. Well, I can help you with that. And I'm like, mate, all right, first of all, I'm not going to buy views. There's just no way I'm going to do that. And secondly, that's probably because the channel isn't really a YouTube channel. It is exactly what I've always said it is. It's just a hobby. It's a hobby that I do in the evenings for something to do. And it just happens that people want to watch, which is great. And we're going to be a little bit careful here. So we'll indicate, check, we're okay, good. We're going across. I'm going to follow this green Toyota hearse, I guess. Oh, it's a Yaris. I didn't know they made hearses in green. It's ugly. Anyway, yeah, so this person was like, I can help you become a famous YouTuber. And I'm like, mate, I'd rather just have people who want to be here. I'd rather have people who want to watch the channel and want to watch the videos and just, you know, have fun because we're doing stuff that's interesting to them. The obvious one is Stranded Deep. So Stranded Deep is nearly 700 episodes in. Started in 2016. I had no plan to continue doing that. Mate, why are you stopping? The car's like, you're gonna crash. Because the Yaris driver's like, I think my car's very wide. And I'm like, my car's wider than yours, mate. I wouldn't have stopped. But anyway, the channel. The channel. So the channel, yes, Stranded Deep. So Stranded Deep is interesting. 2016 to 2023, still going, nearly 700 episodes in, still finding stuff to do in the game, still finding stuff that's kind of broken in the game. But I'm kind of at the point where I'm comfortable playing it. Half-hour episodes because it's just easier on me to do a half-hour episode. Trying to do a 2-hour episode every week would just be a nightmare. Especially in an open world game where you just kind of have to think about what you're going to do before going in. Nothing's scripted, there's no point. And also I don't have time to write a script, but you do kind of think, yeah, this week or this episode I really want to get this done. So that's basically how it works. And I always want to go from one island to another. If you've ever watched a Stranded Deep episode or know what it is, it's a game where we are on an archipelago. So there are several desert islands, and we can go from island to island on our little raft. Beep. So we can go from island to island on our little raft, and I always make sure to go from one place to another in an episode just to keep things interesting, things lively and alive. And that gets views. That gets, I mean, recently it's been getting over 100 views, which is excellent for the channel, considering at one point 10 views was considered a good video. Now currently I'm doing 2 episodes of Stranded Deep, 1 episode of God of War, 1 episode of Baldur's Gate 3, and 1 episode of Disco Elysium a week. And the Baldur's Gate 3 and Disco Elysium videos, those are 2-hour-long videos, so I'm going to guess that not everyone's going to want to watch them, because it's essentially like committing to watching a live stream once a week. You can second monitor it, of course, and there are some interesting things about second monitoring stuff, which I'll get onto. But essentially, the other videos on the channel don't really get that many views. So you might say, why do I do them? Why bother putting up videos that take a long time and an awful lot of effort to make if they don't get that many views, if people aren't really watching them? That's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked that. It's because I like the game and I'm keen to finish it, and also it's a hobby, so you know, if I don't do it, then I'm not doing my hobby. But there is a much more, I guess, salient or prescient reason, and that is that if one person's watching it and I'm enjoying doing it, then why would I not carry on? So let's just check, because Mr. Yaris just drifted out onto the junction without really having a look. Yeah, if like a couple of people are watching a series and I'm enjoying making it, then I don't see the harm in just carrying it on. So Baldur's Gate 3 and God of War, we can get pretty irreverent with them because there's not that many people watching. I mean, God of War is Kratos. It's a really buff lad, and it's more of a fighting adventure game. But there's story elements. It's a very rich story-based game. So just start off the game and introduce Kratos as Daddy Fisty Claws, because you do punch people a lot in that game. So we just fist people until they burst. Why would you even say that? It's irreverent, and for anyone watching, I mean, it's just taking that sort of very dry sense of humour and just not acknowledging what the words that we are saying, which is fine. I love doing that. I often wonder, like, how other people in other countries, you might understand English, but I do wonder if people understand the very dry British sense of humour that I have. And even for a British person, my sense of humour is incredibly dry. Like, you might say something and just not acknowledge that you've said it, even though it's a bit strange or a little bit weird. Yeah, why not? So yeah, we can do that. With Baldur's Gate 3, I found that you could wear, because there's different sets of clothes. It's a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, essentially, done in a game with a kind of a terrible camera. I will acknowledge that the camera in Baldur's Gate 3 is awful, but it's essentially Dungeons and Dragons. And when you go to your camp to do a long rest, because your characters can go back to camp, do a long rest, they change clothes into their camp clothes. And one of the characters has essentially like a yoga outfit. So I've put that yoga outfit on my drow main character. And so now we're just yoga drow going around biffing people up. We beat up an old lady and took her stuff. Why? Well, because I'm going across. There's some weirdness on that junction. Because that was one of the quests in the game. I wasn't entirely sure what we were doing there, but that's what we did. So yeah, yoga drow. And there was an interesting bit in the episode that I've just recorded but not put out, where the camera was just on your character's butt, and I'm just talking away, and I watched it in the edit, and I was just like, doop-a-doop-a-doop, jeez, there's so much cake on the screen. It's like, just, mommy taking us to the bakery, huh? Yeah, you can, when there's like a lower viewership on a video, just get away with stuff like that, because you figure at that point who's going to be watching, and I do like that. I do like just just exploring the edges of that very dry British sense of humour. When it comes to Stranded Deep, I figure people at this point want to, probably coming from the console base, and they're wanting to see what you can do within Stranded Deep as a game on console. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, come watch someone who's played it for the last like 7 or 8 years. It's fine, we're going to do stuff. But yeah, so there's other videos. They're just fun to make. I just like making them. And as far as Disco Elysium, which is the other 2-hour video that we do on the channel, or I do on the channel, that is probably going to be my game of not just the year, but just my game. I love Disco Elysium. It is such a good game, such a well-written game, and there won't be a Disco Elysium 2. There would have been before the developers, the company got aggressively taken over on the stock market by potentially fraudulent activity, allegedly. And apparently the writers are kind of hard to get on with anyway, but they were all fired by the person who took over the company, and it's all a little bit strange. So there is no Disco Elysium 2, which is sad, because the game itself is amazing. It is as close as you can get to a kind of masterpiece title. It was one of the highest ranked, in fact it was the highest rated game on Metacritic until Baldur's Gate 3 came out. And I think that's a little unfair, because I think Disco Elysium as a game is probably better than Baldur's Gate 3. So that's a fun one. There is just a side note to that. With those very big text-heavy games, so the text adventure games where you get multiple choices on screen, so you get to choose a dialogue and then the characters will respond, I always read those out, because I know that some people are watching on a second monitor. I know that some people are watching on a mobile phone and can't read those lines. So I make a point of reading this stuff out. But I have been watching other people play games. In fact, I watched someone play Baldur's Gate 3 on stream. They spent over an hour in the character creator, and their dialogue, their narration while they were in the character creator was and they were nudging sliders backwards and forwards, and they were going the whole time. And I'm just like, talk to me, please talk to me, please talk to me, or just skip this bit, do something. I think I spent like 10 minutes in the character creator and was like, cool, we're done. We blasted through that, because that's not, it's interesting to see, but it's not why people come and watch those videos. And then when you get to dialogue options, I've seen so many people on stream go to a dialogue option, go click on a dialogue option, and then the other NPCs respond to it, but you don't know what the player, the streamer, has actually selected. And then they get another set of dialogue options, and they go click, and it's like, I have you on a second monitor, or I have you on a mobile phone, or English isn't my first language. I can't read what's at the bottom of the screen. I don't know what you selected. Please narrate to me, the viewer, what you, the player, are seeing as a streamer. So I always try and narrate that. I always try and read that out, especially with Baldur's Gate, and especially with Disco Elysium. And with Disco Elysium, the final cut, even though there's all the voice acting is now in the game, so the game has very in-depth voice acting. Sometimes the voice acting doesn't cover things like the character then turned and looked out over the ocean. So I'll read those little bits out, the character turns and looks out over the ocean, because that might be more information that you as a viewer need. So yeah, those games are fun to record. You can have fun with humour. You can have fun with humour, but you can also, it allows you to be a little bit creative, and it's good exercise. Like, I have a problem reading and talking at the same time anyway. And the first game that we did that in was Doki Doki Literature Club, where I had to read all of the text because there was no voice acting in that. And it was before I had glasses, before I had reading glasses, and I was having a hard time just reading the words. So I was like, I can't really read these words. So I was trying to read and narrate at the same time. I was having a hard time doing it. But I think, well, I hope that I've improved, and especially through Disco Elysium. That is such a good game. I don't really want my own narration to mess up that as a story. So yeah, it's why do I carry on with series that don't get very many views? It's good practice, and it's good if someone's watching, so I'm not going to stop that. I have stopped a few games in the past. So we did play Resident Evil 7, I think, or is it 6? It was the one with the family and they were eating goo, and yeah, I was just having a hard time with that game. I'm not really big into horror games, although I do have the next two Supermassive games. So after Disco Elysium, yep, we're going to be playing House of Ashes. So that's fun. I've got House of Ashes and The Devil in Me. So those are down. I got them in a sale. That was neat. So those are ready to go. So we'll be back on the Supermassive games. That does still require a little bit of reading, but those are fully voice acted and animated titles, so those are fun to do. I like those. Not for Halloween though. I think Disco Elysium is going to go on for a little bit longer, and I just don't have the time to do everything. Holy crap, why are there so many people here half term? Oh, why did I answer my own question? Don't know. The only other thing I got to say is that camera is no longer in a case, and we're going to see how well that works, because the camera was steaming up. So I was like, well, if I put it in, if I don't have it in a case, then the camera can't steam up. And what we'll do is, I'm just going to go in here. So the camera can't steam up if it's not in a case. So we'll see if the connector's okay, and if it doesn't twist or wobble or shake and make it hard to watch. So good. Let us just get this a little bit. You can see the parking bay on the camera, but you can't see if you're lined up, so you got to do it with the mirrors. There we go. And then you use the camera to stop yourself bumping into the bollard. Excellent. Well, good. I think we've covered everything we need to do on this episode. If you like these episodes, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell. You don't have to have them. And I'll tell you what, I'll catch you next time.